Well, welcome back. Welcome back to Extraordinary Drummer Show. And it is just that today, an extraordinary drummer here today with us. I don't know why me and this gentleman haven't met in person before. I feel like maybe somewhere we shook a hand, somewhere at NAMM or something, but I've admired this guy for years and years and years. Let me just read you some of his credits, and then we'll get to his main credit, which is like mind-blowing. His credits is like he's played with the Who's of Who. Excuse my glasses, please. Stephanie Mills, Patti LaBelle, Bruce Hornsby, Wayman Tisdale, who I loved on bass guitar, the Daz Band. That's a gig right there by itself. And so many others. Karen White. I saw one in here that I wanted to mention. Where is it? It'll come back to me. But of course, we all know him for his main gig, and that's EWF. Earth, Wind, and Fire! Just saying that is so big. Would you help me welcome today on the Extraordinary Drummer Show, John Paris. Hey, John.
How are you, brother? How are you, man?
The show, man.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me, man.
I could have stayed on that interview for a long time. Look at all these credits this guy got.
Oh, come on. No, come on. One of my favorites that I have to mention, because I've had some, like, I would call them, when your body leaves you kind of experiences. And that's my queen, one of the last living, and Patti LaBelle. She took me places, man, I've only dreamed of on stage, man. It was every night, between her, the musical director, and the band, and what she was able to do with an audience. Half the time we wouldn't know what was getting ready to happen after the intro, but yeah, I have to say that, she to this day. But yeah, I had to throw that in there.
I saw you guys at Madison Square Garden a couple of times, and I remember Patti kicking that shoe off. Remember you kicked that shoe off?
Oh yeah, you better watch your head. That's right. It's gonna happen.
She used to do amazing stuff. I remember you guys were at Madison Square, and she had this fur coat on, and she literally took it off and told the audience to hold my coat, baby. Don't go nowhere.
Oh, she had that respect too. She wasn't worried about it. So get that coat back.
Patti LaBelle, man. Hey, man. How you been?
Man, pretty good. Considering, pretty good. I was expecting, it to be a little bit more challenging, mentally, but I'm cool, man. I've been busy, trying to stay sharp, as we would call it, practicing. Definitely getting into some things, feeling a little more comfortable with stuff I'll probably never be able to use. But
you been working out, huh?
Yeah, writing and with some of my friends and producing some stuff. So it's been pretty cool, actually. Been very productive, I'll say.
How are you holding up with all this quarantine and?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's pretty tough, but I'm trying to make it work for me. Let's just say, since if I can't go out and run around in the streets, well, man, I'm gonna pick up a book, learn something, watch some videos, take some more lessons. You know what I mean? Just stay sharp, do a couple of push-ups, whatever, keep the cardio together. Make it work.
God, I can't imagine you working on your chops, man. I just don't think you need that.
Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding? Oh, man, I got so much to go, so far to go. Oh, man. Oh, absolutely. I'm going in almost every day. Got to get it.
Hey, John, I was looking around and find out, where are you from? I couldn't find any place where you from.
I was born in New Jersey, Trenton, New Jersey.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Isley Brothers.
Yeah, right up the street. Yeah, in T-Net. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a Jersey boy, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I moved to Cali and, oh, man, I'm about to tell it. Okay.
Don't tell it.
I guess I can be, proud of it now since I'm still here. But yeah, I moved to Cali in 72, 71, 72. Yeah. And San Francisco and Oakland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's where, all the Bay Area stuff came in, which I found was kind of parallel in a lot of ways musically. When I went to San Francisco, it was wide open, you know, still. Everything was going on in there. I mean, you could find a band on every street corner.
Do you remember when you got your first drum kit?
Oh man, there was always a drum kit in the house. I'm from a family of musicians, you know. So my uncle, he had this combination going. He was a trumpet player, drummer, and he sat down and he would play piano. So we had an upright piano and a drum set in the garage. My mother sang. Everybody did something musically, you know. And so I would sneak down there and try to do what I heard. Could not, of course, but you know. My grandmother loved all the Motown stuff, you know, you name it. Any of that stuff that was going, my parents both loved the jazz stuff, you know, Betty Carter, Sarah Vaughan, all of them. My dad thought he was Billy Eckstine. So if you could imagine, you know, the musicians that were playing, you know, with them. Pearl Bailey, you know, she had Louis Belson back there, you know, Buddy Rich was on TV, it seemed like every week, you know, nagging Johnny Carson. So, you know, it was, you know, of course, it, you know, social media wasn't, you know, like for us back then, but, you know, if you went home and you saw Soul Train or something on the weekends, you know, the musicians were playing live. All the artists were live. So we got the exposure at a very high level, you know, back then. You know, you could really feel the difference of a record and then that energy from live. So it was
yeah, man.
It was
Ask you this, how did you go about playing drums around town and started to forming yourself as a drummer?
Well, that was that happened for me in the Bay Area. So, you know, by the time I got to the Bay, I figured out I really wanted to do that. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. So if you can imagine, you know, in New York, you know, it's right there, you know, New Jersey, right? So we got all those radio stations, man, and all this incredible music. And I would go to the fish market and I'd hear all this Latin, the stuff from Cuba, all this stuff. I didn't even know who I was listening to, actually, but I heard it, but I knew it made me move. So the first thing I did was look up, you know, some of my favorite percussionists and drummers. And the Escovedo family was #1 on my list. So I started sneaking around in the clubs and watching them play. And I saw this beautiful girl back there playing drums. I'm like, I can't be hearing what I'm hearing. She was little back then too, and she was killing it. Then she got on congas. And then she was going around on everything. I'm like, oh, you know, speaking of Sheila, right? So I was following that whole family around, you know, because Pops was playing with Santana. So all of that was going on.
Let me take you back a little bit. What were you doing in drums with high school and college?
Man, I was still trying to figure it out because I was trying to decide whether I wanted to put that guitar down. You know, I was loving guitar. Guitar was like, I don't want to say my first instrument, but there was a couple of them always laying around the house. So I would pick it up and play bass lines, and I love chords and harmony and stuff, and, you know, the barbershop harmony stuff, the Carpenters, all that stuff, you know, and what's that group? I love Crosby, Stills, and Nash. You know, all that stuff was in my head, and then I started trying to figure out chords, so that stuff was kind of in my way. So by the time I got to high school is when it got really thick, and it was time to work. So I was at a junior college for 6 months, and that was it, and we were going to work. We was in the streets, man. That was considered my university, you know, Oakland and Berkeley streets, as they were telling you exactly what it was and how to do it and what you needed to learn and who you need to go see and talk to get it. So I was 17 and that was it. Let's go.
What was your first, not big tour that made you John Paris, but what was your first big gig that got you out and got you going?
Man, well, I would say the O'Brien tour.
The O'Brien tour, okay.
Yeah, O'Brien, and that was, 85.
How did that Earth, Wind, and Fire gig come about? How did you get that gig?
So how much time we got again?
2 months.
Can we do it? Can we do it? Okay, so we had one of our really good friends to this day, Marty Hom. He's one of the biggest managers in the game now. He was in Sacramento back in that time when we were coming up, you know, in the early 80s. He had an agency that would book bands. So we got him. He picked us up. we moved to Sacramento and rented a house because we had some contracted work, you know, like 2 or 3 months. Why don't we just get a band house? I'm like, cool, bet. He helped us out. We went to Sacramento and we were playing this club out there called Galactica 2000, which is no longer there. And this guy walks up to me and he says, yo, man, you know, I like the way you play. I want to do a showcase with my band. My record's coming out. The name of the band is called Afterbot. I'm like, oh, wow, cool. What's your name? Robert Brookins. And he says, yeah, man, Maurice and them, blah, 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 produce me Maurice and them. And I keep going, Maurice, that's not a real common name in my, you know, upcoming. Only Maurice I know is Maurice White. I know he's not talking about Maurice White. And he keeps popping the name. So I ask him, yo, man, who is Maurice and them? What you talk about? Oh, you Maurice White, Earth, Wind, and Fire, blah, blah, blah. As soon as he popped that out of his mouth, I'm thinking, oh, this dude is, he's pulling my leg, right? So I pass it up because, you know, I want to stay loyal to my band. 3 months later, his record comes out. And between our sets, we're playing the same club. Between our sets, curtain would come down. They would play videos. And then you know, the DJ would do his thing. They playing this dude's video. They playing Robert Brookins' video. I'm like, that's that dude. That, oh, man, he wasn't lying. Said, you know, CBS. What was the name of the that they had on the record? I can't. Kalimba Records, right?
Kalimba,
so,
right.
Oh, no, he was telling me the truth. Right, so he lived in Sacramento. And we had a laugh about it, you know, after that, because, you know, I didn't believe him. But he is a prankster. And so we started merging band members in and out of his band and playing together. We just really remained tight. Well, Robert ended up being Philip's musical director later on. And that opportunity came for me to play with Philip. So, of course, if you, any member, original member of Earth, Wind, and Fire, you're going to have to play something by Earth, Wind, and Fire. You ain't going to be able to get out of there, you know, especially Philip Bailey, right? So there were like 4 or 5 songs in there, or maybe I'll say 6 of Earth, Wind, and Fire tunes. So they knew that I could do it, you know, that I had the right feel for it, but the opportunity never came up for me to do it. So we all knew they were mentoring our band, and the whole time, you know, Verdine, one of my best buddies ever when we were kids. He would always, when Robert introduced me to him back, and I'm something like 80, 79 or something, you know, when he was really crazy, he always stayed in touch with us. He was really good with that. And man, they were just always, you know, staying in touch with us. So now you flash forward to, let's say 2000, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, doing a record with this rock band from this engineer that I met doing Wayman Tisdale's record. He put this rock band together. And I don't know how Robert found me, but he found me in Phoenix doing this record. Hey, man, at this time, Robert is Earth, Wind, and Fire's musical director now, right? So he calls, hey, man, we need somebody to come out here and beat these drums. So knowing Robert, I'm thinking that he's pulling a prank again. So this will be the second time, right? All right, man, look, man, what you doing? I'm like, I'm out here with this band. You know, I'm working, man. It's like, man, we need you to come out. Like, man, stop playing with me. You know how I feel about Earth, Wind, and Fire. Don't play with me like that. He's going on and on about it. So I hung up. I hung the phone up on him. And he calls back, man, I'm serious, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, man, stop playing with me, Robert, man. We 26 songs in. This band that I was with, they were prolific with writing, and we going in, and I'm getting real excited about, you know, being in this band. Calls me back, and now I can hear that his voice is different. Hey, yo, stop hanging up on me. I'm dead serious. We need you to come out here. And I'm good with voices. I believe they were in New York at the time, and he was with Philip. So Philip is sitting right next to him, and Philip goes, tell him if he can do it, we're going to stop looking. Oh, man, my blood ran cold in my whole body. I was like, oh, whoa, it's serious. Oh, my God. And now I'm looking at these guys. I'm on the phone looking at these guys because I'm like, I'll leave this band just for an audition with Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm going. I don't care what happens. I just want to be on, you know. And so, yeah, man, they sent me a couple of CDs. You know, I did my homework, learned the arrangements, went out there. And since I had camaraderie and relationship with them already, they trusted that I could do it without a rehearsal, bro. It was in July, and I was scared to death. So this to this day, I don't even remember that gig. The only good news I got was that they wanted me to come back and finish the tour. So I was like, okay. And that was in 2000. So yeah, that's how that happened. That's crazy, right?
That's beyond crazy, man. That I'd have been, my knees would have been knocking, bro.
Oh, they were knocking. They were absolutely knocking, no question. Because I mean, it's a different thing, when you're actually in there. Hey, when you're saying hi, oh, yeah, what's up with it? No, you in there, it's different, totally different.
What was it like? Now, before I get to I got a lot of questions about the Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff, but had Fred White already left, or what was the deal there?
Oh yeah, yeah. When they reunited the band in '87, that's when Sonny came in. Sonny Emery. Yeah. So he had it was Sonny, Gordon Campbell, and I think there might have been a couple of other people in there, but I came in after Gordon Campbell.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Sonny was there for 11, 12 years or so. And that's the other reason why I was figuring it would be no way that they called me, because I'm not going to do that. That ain't, man, come on. I can play the songs for you. But yeah, Sonny was in there first.
Did you ever get a chance to meet Fred White?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow, what was that like?
Freddie gave me the business, bro, when I first met him. It was really funny in retrospect. I first met Freddie at Dean's 33rd anniversary, and he came up behind me, snapped me, he said, "Drummer," and he called me Drummer. I turned around and looked, I'm like, "Oh, wow, Freddie." He's like, "Hey, man, we don't have to do this right now. We don't have to do this. We can do this later." He's got me hold. He's got, like a headlock real tight. "We don't have to do this." I'm like, "Do what? I'm just saying hello to you, bro." Man, he had me thrown off my game so hard that I couldn't even really converse with him, because he would ask me these questions that were like so, nothing had anything to do with the other. And I was thrown off, and I thought that, he just really wasn't feeling me at all. But, she's a Chicago dude, man. He gonna give it to you straight. We super cool. Now he's like, I love him. I've always loved Freddie, and I forced myself on him. I made him say, "Look, I had no idea what it would be like to feel that type of energy until I saw you play live." I pointed right in his face. I was like, "You did that to me."
What's it like sitting under Verdine, man? Oh, man.
Man, and you know what? Everybody wants to know what that's like.
For those of you who don't know, Verdine White is the bass player.
Absolutely. It's more than a notion. It's the real deal.
More than a notion.
Let me tell you something, man. The first gig, matter of fact, when I and we friends, this is my boy. It's my big brother, right? I get in there. I get on the drums. He goes, "All right, JP, what you want to play? What you want to play?" And I'm thinking about the list, in my head, the way I was going over stuff. I'm like, pick the easiest song ever, the one I got fired over. Let's play Shining Star, right? He goes, "Okay, all right." I'm on this, this platform, and he's looking up at me like this. "Okay, you want to play Shining Star? Okay." He licks his finger. "Let's play Africana." All right. Uh-oh. Gloves is off. He wanted to know. They want to know if I really knew it. And at that time, Africana was the intro, like the old record, Gratitude. And man, so I started off, I'm playing, just playing my little beat. Man, when the band came in after the horns, he started playing that bass, it felt like a washing machine current. I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to go to my room and get back onto this kung fu soft hard trick thing, because if you're not extremely focused, you'll get washed away." That's how strong. But man, we have so much fun now, and listening to his stories and how him and Maurice and Freddie used to cut the stuff with Ralph and them in the studio back in the day. I learned how to approach it. mainly from the concept, the conceptual conversations that we had. Because a lot of it is not what you think. Between Verdine and Al McKay is how I learned, how to approach it, ensembly.
Now, I know from my ears, and I might be wrong, Verdine seems like he plays on top of the one or kind of in front of it a little bit. He don't push it, but he's kind of rushing it a little bit. How did you handle that?
You got it. You got it. So if you put Al McKay in that equation, Al McKay is almost like back there a little bit, not quite, but back there. And the drummer, if you dead center or just like, in there somewhere, that's where the tension comes from. That's where you get that fire, because it ain't that, it ain't that. That's where it comes from, from that circumference. Everybody's all over. We're still in there. We're still on the beat, but somebody's up there, the drummer's down there, the guitar player's over there, and the keyboard player's just doing this. So giving you color. So yeah, I had to figure that out the hard way too.
Did you ever get involved in some of those theatrics and tricks and the drum spinning? Did you ever get involved in some of that stuff?
Absolutely not. I was so glad, that I could speak to them that way. I was like, man, look, y'all ever thinking about spinning something? Spin Verdine, spin Myron, spin him. But I knew, I'm cool. I saw it. And plus I got vertigo. I'm not trying to do that. Once I start spinning, I keep spinning. Good.
What was it like working with the great one, Maurice?
Ooh, man. So many jewels, man. He left us with so many jewels.
Were you with them when Maurice made his transition?
Yes.
What was that like, and how did that affect the band? Because he was already retired, right?
Yes. Yeah, he done a few things with us before that, which was incredible. The last tour for him in Japan, so that was really great to get to feel that. We were doing Clive Davis's pre-Grammy party. We were scheduled to do it, us in Chicago, and at that time, it was I think it was a couple of weeks before that. We lost him then. And I remember Vadim telling me this conversation about Clive calling and saying, no, you guys are not going to cancel, are you? You guys going to be able to do it? And we're like, oh, yeah, we got to do it. He would want us to, but it was real heavy on us. It was real heavy because that was the first time we played since his transition. And we were doing cool. We were doing all right. And we played with our friends, Chicago. They blew it up. And we got in there, and, the energy in the room was cool. And we were doing okay till we got to That's the Way of the World. It was something about us playing that song that night, and you could feel it. And everybody was just like, wow, man, he's not here anymore. You could feel it. It was that strong. But it made us, respect how you translate emotion to a song that way, because we all had it, and there was no question we were on the same page.
What is the one thing or things that you take from the Earth, Wind, and Fire gig that you've used in your life and used going forward as a drummer?
I like to say ensemble. It would be called a group, in other words, but ensemble. Al McKay taught me that, and that signifies more unity and what we need to do to be together. Everybody brings something to the party, and if of course, it has to be the right pieces. When you find the right pieces, it's right. It's necessary to do that. But if we do things together, it's powerful. Nothing beats unity up. Can't get through that. And if it's strong enough and we're all thinking, what can I do to help this guy feel better or play better or sing better? If we're all coming from that concept of what can I do for this guy to bring it together, unstoppable unit.
We have a thing on the show we call Word of Advice. Probably heard of it. And what it is we ask the drummers or the guests if they would leave a word of advice for the up and coming drummers, the guys that are trying to get traction in their career. Sometimes it's the guys that's even established that's trying to get to the next level. Would you leave a word of advice for those guys?
Love the music more than you love yourself, you'll be fine. Because that's where we get into a lot of trouble, because some of these drummers with their talent level, it's a competition. You know, they want to be the best at that. I want to blaze this dude. I'm faster than him, which has nothing to do with music ensemble. And what music is a gift. We're supposed to be able to give that. And if you come into the game and you love music, you'll be fine. You'll be cool. You have to, address your ego at all times, because some of us, some of those guys are special. But if you keep the perspective of respect and love of the gift of song, you'll be straight. Love music more than you love yourself, you're good. You're good. It covers the whole gamut of everything else. It's like love and respect. If you do that for other people, it's coming back to you that way. The music will absolutely nourish you in that way if you give it the way that you're supposed to give it, through love and not ego and talent and I'm just that great.
Thank you for that. Let's talk about endorsements. Who you play? I've seen you on some great drum kits too, man. I was like, if I could just have half of that drum kit right there,
Man,
What are you playing? What drums? What cymbals? What heads? What are you doing on the endorsement side?
I'm tempted to go in here right now and pull this drum out. Bro, let me tell you, John Good and the family at DW are incredible. They're like magicians with the stuff they do. It is just like, I can't even, but they are incredible. They're phenomenal. So it's DW drums. Remo heads, those are my family too. I love them. Sabian cymbals, and Vic Firth sticks, which I have incredible relationships with all of them, and they've all been so supportive and kind to me.
Man, I thank you for being on the show. As I let you go, I want to ask you this one, and I was saving it for last.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not gonna get you.
Okay.
You ever pinch yourself and just say, what a life.
Absolutely.
What a journey I'm on.
Absolutely.
What a journey.
Absolutely. To keep it real with you, by the time I realized what was going on, I'm going to work with Earth, Wind & Fire, right? And we always go through the back, but this time, and I'm talking about the entire journey. There were two instances that really got me. And this one time we were going through the front, and I looked up at the marquee and had my nerve, I'm trying to be irritated about something. I don't know what it was. And it said, tonight, Earth, Wind & Fire. And I'm like, that's me. I'm getting ready to play some of my favorite music of all time again and get paid for it. And the other time was in 91, I believe it was 1991 or 90, when Nelson Mandela got released. Patti took us all over there, and it was probably every musical artist in the world at Wembley Stadium playing for him. And the journey over there is tough, it's hard, it's work, and we do the gig, and he came into every single person's dressing room to thank them for coming. And when I saw that man walk in to say thank you, that just, and this was all because music chose me. So yeah, I pinch myself every other day to answer the question.
Nelson Mandela.
Yes. See what I'm saying? A little dude from New Jersey end up in the same room. Yeah, man, I could keep you on here forever. There's more. There's instances, that I can tell you about, man, that is just, but yeah, I pinch myself quite often.
Let me tell you, man, you're welcome to come back anytime. I know with a body of work and a journey that you're on. It's just so much more in front of you, so much more to tell. Let me say thank you so very much for being on the Extraordinary
Man,
Show.
I'm honored, man. Thank you so much for having me, brother. I appreciate you.
We wave goodbye to all of you.
Absolutely, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch you another time because I can talk the back legs off the chair. We're coming back. All right. Thank you, C. I appreciate you.